To say that this season from the New York Knicks has been a roller coaster would be an understatement. The Knicks looked inconsistent early on, going 10-13, and then out of nowhere the Knicks would do the unthinkable and consistently start winning, ripping off a massive 8-game winning streak, completely turning around their season. Now sure, they go through a tough stretch after that where they would drop some games to opponents that they probably should have beaten, but if you ask me, that only adds to this freaking bizarre roller coaster of a season. This season for the team that plays in the vibrant, storied Madison Square Garden has been very interesting. We've seen Jalen Brunson look like a steal of a signing. We've seen RJ Barrett tap into that potential that made him the number 3 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. We've seen Julius Randle, who felt like an outcast last year amid a flurry of ESPN trade machine scenarios, buy in and start to go off, looking like one of the best players in the league. He's looked like a guy that you could legitimately build around. Since December 1st, Julius Randle is averaging 28.3 points, 11.7 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. Those are numbers that you could really get behind. Did I mention that he's also been shooting the 3 ball with volume and solid efficiency, which is something that you really love to see. You know what else you love to see? Quickly going for 36, and Mitchell Robinson dominating games defensively, playing up to his monstrous frame. Mitchell Robinson trolling Ayton via TikTok was pretty funny also. Unfortunately for some players on the Knicks roster, while some players' careers are trending up, others just haven't been in the right situation or haven't been utilized properly this season with a shorter rotation in mind. Players like Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and of course my guy, Cam Reddish, come to mind when I bring this up. Cam Reddish logging DMPs has led many to ask themselves what's really going on in NY, and we'll get into that. But first, today's content is sponsored by PrizePicks. Guys, let me show you how the daily fantasy sports app known as PrizePicks works. You just log into PrizePicks on your web browser or app, find a few projections that you like, and then click more or less for that projection. From there, you just submit your amount and then your entry and you're good to go. PrizePicks is super effortless and it's a super rewarding way to find out exactly how much you know about the NBA. If it wasn't for my knowledge on the Knicks and the Suns, then maybe I don't hit on this simple $10 Quentin Grimes and DeAndre Ayton lineup. Now to play PrizePicks with me, all you have to do is click the link in the description below to download the app. Once the app is downloaded, make sure that you use code COOP when you sign up to get your deposit instantly matched. I know that some of you guys already know, but for those that don't, I'm a giant Cam Reddish guy. He's one of those guys that I've just sort of believed in since day one and then never stopped believing in. Now that's not me saying that he's going to be a star or anything like that, but I do think that he can be a productive NBA player in the league with the right mindset, simply because he's too talented not to. For those who don't remember how talented Cam Reddish really is, coming out of high school, he had guys like Anthony Edwards saying this.
Wait, who the hardest person you had to guard?
Be honest, man. Could be when you're freshman.
Oh, Cam Reddish. I told you, everybody gonna say.
People.
Everybody
Hey,
gonna
when
say
you play against Cam?
Everybody gonna say Cam Reddish. How many he gave you? Somebody gave him more than mine.
40.
How many he gave you?
Well, he didn't give me 40. He gave like the person who would guard him.
Nah, Cam Reddish different, bro.
He different.
Yeah.
That is a high school Anthony Edwards acknowledging that Cam Reddish was a different type of beast. Cam Reddish is this 6'8" wing that has the prototypical skill and size that is desired at the NBA level. Coming out of college, NBADraft.net would compare him to Rudy Gay, while others like Coach Nate McMillan saw flashes of Paul George. While relatively speaking, Cam's college numbers were bad and he struggled with efficiency for some time, you had to look at who he was playing next to in college. When you're playing next to Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett on a Duke team that struggled to shoot the ball, you just kind of have to get in where you fit in. And so has kind of been the case for Cam at the NBA level, or so you would think. You see, despite Cam's high-level talent, he has struggled to find a consistent role that he's comfortable with in the NBA. In Atlanta, one of his coaches freaking saw shades of Paul George, and yet Cam still won it out. Despite showing these shades of being a really good player in Atlanta, sadly, role conflict would arise as he would become more uncomfortable with where he was in his career. Cam's always viewed himself as a star or a very high-level player, somebody that should get a bag after their rookie deal. And well, at least according to the reports, the pathway to becoming that star or high-level player just would be very tough to do in Atlanta. Mind you that before Cam got traded, he did have a couple of 30-point games, but the efficiency would be poor and oftentimes the Hawks would play worse with him on the floor. As somebody who was incredibly gassed up on Reddish, I was kind of sad that things didn't work out in Atlanta. That being said, with the Knicks putting down a light investment on Reddish, I look towards the future. Upon arriving in New York, he would say this: I feel like I can be a star. I feel like I can be a legit star. That's what I'm working to be. It's pretty simple. I think that I'm still on track and I'll continue to put the work in. I think that's still there for sure. Cam would go from averaging 23.4 minutes in Atlanta to 14.4 in New York before losing the rest of the season due to injury. This season for the New York Knicks, Cam would get another opportunity to start. He would log big minutes in a few of these starts, while looking like a quality starter with upside at worst, before completely falling out of the rotation after suffering a groin injury and losing any momentum that he had built up. To quote a report from around a month ago, less than a year after acquiring Cam Reddish for a potential first-round pick, the Knicks still don't have a role for the young wing and are working with his representatives on a trade. Reddish would be pulled from the rotation after logging his first healthy DNP of the season in a victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Guys, if you are any level of athlete, you know that you do not want to be getting DNPs. You don't even have to be an athlete to know that. Not playing sucks. According to Fred Katz of The Athletic, the Knicks are willing to attach Reddish to a trade to unload the contract of Evan Fournier, who is under contract until at least the 2023-2024 season, and who also happens to be out of the Knicks rotation. Apparently, the Knicks have been willing to attach quickly to any potential trade as well, and have been fielding calls on Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose actually called BS on any reports that say that he's getting traded, and I believe him. He said that the team is keeping communications open with me. When they told me, I don't think that they want to move me like that. They know that I have a lot left and they love my connection and relationship that I have with the players on the team. I'm not in the locker room trying to screw up the vibe of the team by having a messed up attitude or anything like that. I've had so many lives in the NBA that now I'm in the position where I can sit back, teach the young guys, and if Thibs needs me, I can catch a rhythm and play the way I want to. Can't lie, guys, Rose sounds like the ultimate vet presence here. The whole Thibs DNP thing is really interesting to me, because if there's one thing that I've learned over the years from watching teams coached by him, it's that once you're in that doghouse, you might as well start practicing your hot takes to become the next Kendrick Perkins, because your reputation is for sure going to be damaged. Jokes aside, I understand that maybe the team was waiting on Quentin Grimes to ramp up, who has taken a hold of that starting 2-3 position and ran with it by playing hard-nosed defense, looking dynamic as a playmaker, cutter, athlete, and just being an all-around winning player. But even as one of the biggest Quentin Grimes supporters, who understands that there was a reason that the Knicks didn't want to include him in any Donovan Mitchell trade package, it's hard for me to understand why Cam Reddish is not playing at all, especially considering all of the injuries that New York has faced this season. Would you believe me if I told you that even Cam was a bit confused about what was going on? When Reddish would be asked about his playtime this season, he'd say this: I don't have control over anything, so I don't do too much thinking about my DNP status. I'll think myself into misery. You know how that goes. That's just human nature. I just try to stay in the gym, work out, and go from there. When Reddish would be asked what it took to return to the rotation, he said that I'm going to be 1000% honest with you guys. You probably know more about that than me. I have no idea. None. Now get this. When Thibs was asked about Cam getting DNPs on nights when other out of rotation guys got in fourth quarter blowouts, he said, we just want him to stay ready. It's a coach's decision. That just doesn't sit right with me. My thought process here is that maybe, just maybe, Thibs never really valued Cam as a player, knows that he's had some injury problems, and is trying to keep him healthy as there is some interest for him on the trade market. To add to the earlier reports about him potentially getting traded, the Lakers like Fournier and Cam, and the Knicks are seeking a protected first-round pick for Cam Reddish. Let me know if that valuation for Cam is too high or too low in the comments below. Now, with all of these trade rumors surrounding Reddish, some people would believe that Reddish would be demanding another trade, but according to him, that wouldn't be the case. To quote Cam responding to reporters, "I haven't requested any trades yet. I have not. Y'all seem to know more than me. For real, I don't know what y'all are talking about, but I haven't requested any trade, nothing like that." Personally, I think what's going on with Cam sucks. He's a clearly talented player that more or less just needs opportunities to grow as a player on a team that may not have any pressure to win. I understand his shortcomings, but at this point, it's hard for me to blame a player who at the very least just wants basic communication from their team. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me know what you think down in the comments below of this whole situation. Regardless of everything, shout out to the New York Knicks, man. I really want you guys to be good. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.